All right, so are you ready to dive into something pretty fascinating?
Always.
Okay, good. Because today we're exploring this idea of ancient wisdom, but for your modern mental well-being.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're looking at some excerpts from Bible Inner Harmony and Inner Glow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it claims that the Bible has these practical steps toward being, more joyful and resilient.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it sounds pretty intriguing, right?
It does. It does. And what's so captivating about this text is that it doesn't just like touch the surface of feeling good.
Right.
It really dives deep into this idea of holistic well-being.
Yeah.
So, it's not just one aspect of yourself you have to think about. It's the spiritual, emotional, 80 mental health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it even brings up these two really interesting concepts, inner harmony and inner glow.
Okay, I am all ears. Break those down for me. What do inner harmony and inner glow actually look like?
Well, inner harmony is like finding that peaceful center within yourself amidst, all the chaos of life.
Oh,
It's about having that sense of balance and stability that helps you navigate challenges with a sense of calm.
hmm,
And inner glow is kind of like the outward expression of all that inner harmony you've cultivated.
sure.
It's the radiance and joy that just shines through when your life is aligned with a deeper sense of purpose.
So it's more than just like feeling good. It's this deeper alignment that affects how you experience and interact with the whole world.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, the text jumps right into trust, specifically trusting in God.
Mm-hmm.
It says that this is key to unlocking inner peace.
Okay.
I'm curious, how does it explain this connection? Is it just about blind faith?
Not really. It's definitely more nuanced than that.
Okay.
The text draws on a verse from Isaiah 26:3.
Okay.
You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you.
hmm
But it goes beyond just quoting scripture.
No,
It
no.
really digs into the psychological effects of trust, saying that by trusting in a higher power, you're essentially handing over your worries and anxieties, freeing up mental space for clearer thinking and a more positive outlook.
That is a fascinating perspective.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be incredibly freeing
Mm,
to let go of that constant need to control everything and just trust that things will work out.
absolutely.
I wonder if this ties into the idea of renewing your mind, which the text also highlights.
Oh, you're exactly right. It connects those two ideas beautifully.
Okay.
It explains that renewing your mind is this process of intentionally shifting your focus away from all the negativity and fear,
Hmm.
and instead looking towards more hopeful and purposeful thoughts.
Right.
So it's not about just ignoring problems.
Okay.
It's about choosing to see challenges through this lens of faith and possibility.
Hmm.
It even references Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So it's almost like a mental detox. But instead of eliminating toxins, you're replacing negative thought patterns with more empowering ones based on faith and connection to something larger than yourself.
Exactly.
Now, the text also talks about joy,
Okay.
but it seems to emphasize a deeper kind of joy than just like fleeting happiness, right?
Right. It makes that distinction between fleeting happiness,
Yeah.
which, is often dependent on external circumstances,
Yeah.
and then this more deep-rooted joy that comes from connection with God.
Oh.
It's a more consistent and resilient kind of joy, the
Yeah.
kind that helps you weather, all those storms of life.
Mhm.
It even cites Nehemiah 8:10, where it says, the joy of the Lord is your strength.
Interesting. So this joy isn't just a feeling, it's a source of strength and resilience that helps you face challenges.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be so valuable today,
Yeah.
with all the stress and anxiety in the world.
Absolutely. And speaking of stress,
Oh, yeah.
the text suggests that cultivating gratitude can be a really effective way to combat it.
That makes sense because when you're focused on all the things you're grateful for, it's harder to dwell on the negative.
Exactly.
But does the text offer any deeper insight into how gratitude actually works to reduce that stress?
It does. It explains that intentionally noticing and appreciating the good things in your life, no matter how big or small, can actually shift your perspective.
Mm,
And this practice isn't just some feel-good exercise.
right.
The text highlights that it actually rewires your brain, reducing stress hormones and promoting a more positive outlook.
Wow.
It even connects this concept to 1 Thessalonians 5:18, which says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus.
Wow. It's amazing how this ancient text ties into like modern research on neuroplasticity and the power of gratitude.
Isn't it fascinating?
It's not just about feeling better, it's about actually changing your brain chemistry.
Exactly. It's about taking these principles and incorporating them into your daily life.
Mhm.
So it's not just some abstract concept, but like practical tools for cultivating a more peaceful and resilient mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it doesn't just stop at the individual level.
Oh, yeah.
The text actually highlights the power of gratitude to like ripple outwards, influence those around you, and foster a more positive and supportive environment.
It's like that idea that gratitude is contagious.
Right.
When you express genuine appreciation, it inspires others to do the same,
Yeah.
creating this positive feedback loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm curious about the text's take on prayer.
Okay.
It seems to go beyond just like reciting memorized words,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. It emphasizes prayer as like a real two-way conversation with God.
Okay.
So it's not just about, going through the motions. It's about expressing your anxieties and hopes,
Right.
seeking guidance,
Yeah.
and even finding comfort and strength in that connection. It even uses Philippians 4.6 as an example.
Okay.
Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God.
So it's not just about like asking for things,
Right.
but about cultivating a deeper relationship
Exactly.
through like open and honest communication. It sounds almost like a form of mindfulness or meditation,
Oh, yeah.
where you quiet your mind and focus on connecting with a higher power.
That's a great observation. And the text actually touches on that aspect of prayer, too.
Oh, wow.
It explains that by taking the time to pray, you're essentially creating space for stillness and reflection. So you can kind of step back from all the noise of daily life and tap into a deeper source of peace and wisdom.
It's like hitting the pause button on all those external distractions
Yeah.
and tuning into a different frequency.
Exactly.
Now, the text also highlights the importance of community,
Okay.
particularly within like a faith context. How does it portray the role of community in fostering well-being?
Well, it really emphasizes that sense of belonging and support that comes from being part of a faith community.
Okay.
It's about sharing burdens, offering encouragement, and knowing you're not alone in your struggles or even your triumphs. It draws on Galatians 6.2, where it says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ.
So it's not just about individual faith, but about collective support and shared experiences
Right.
that can help you through all of life's challenges.
Exactly.
Does the text go beyond just stating the benefits of community?
It does.
Okay.
It actually dives into the various ways these communities provided practical and emotional support.
Okay.
Like sharing resources, providing for those in need, offering guidance and counsel during like really difficult times.
Right.
It even makes comparisons to modern support systems.
Oh, wow.
And highlights this timeless human need for connection and belonging.
That's really insightful. It seems like the text acknowledges that while the forms of community might change over time,
Yeah.
that fundamental need for human connection, that always stays the same.
It really does.
Now, the text also delves into the topic of forgiveness.
Okay.
I'm curious, does it focus only on forgiving others? Or does it touch on self-forgiveness as well?
It actually touches on both aspects of forgiveness.
Okay.
And emphasizes that both are important for achieving inner peace and overall well-being.
Gotcha.
You see, the text explains that holding on to anger and resentment, whether it's towards yourself or others, that creates this inner turmoil and prevents you from experiencing true peace.
So forgiveness isn't just about letting the other person off the hook,
Right.
but it's about freeing yourself from carrying all that negativity.
Exactly. It's for you as much as it is for them.
Does the text provide any insights into how to actually practice forgiveness?
It does.
Okay.
Especially when it feels really difficult. It talks about forgiveness not as this one-time event,
Right.
but like a process.
Okay.
This conscious choice to let go of resentment and choose compassion instead.
Yeah.
So it doesn't minimize the pain caused by, whatever wrong was done. But it encourages you to see forgiveness as this act of self-care. A way to break free from that cycle of anger and pain.
That's a powerful perspective.
Yeah.
It reframes forgiveness not as like weakness,
Right.
but as this courageous act of self-healing and liberation.
Absolutely. And the text emphasizes that forgiveness is a journey,
Okay.
not a destination.
Right.
It acknowledges that there will be setbacks and struggles,
Yeah.
but it encourages the reader to keep striving towards releasing that burden of resentment.
Now, amid all this talk of cultivating inner peace and practicing forgiveness, the text also brings up the concept of rest.
Okay.
It's not just about physical rest, is it?
You're right. It goes deeper than simply getting enough sleep.
Okay.
The text describes rest as this soul-level replenishment that comes from connecting with God.
Oh.
It's about intentionally creating space for stillness, reflection, and rejuvenation.
I'm really intrigued by this idea of rest as a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Does the text elaborate on how we can achieve this kind of soul-level rest?
It does. It suggests practices like, spending time in nature, meditating on scripture,
Mm-hmm.
engaging in quiet contemplation,
Right.
or even just taking a few moments each day to just be present and disconnect from all those constant demands of life.
Right.
The text even quotes a verse from Matthew 11:28.
Okay.
Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.
It's a beautiful image,
Isn't it?
that idea of surrendering your burdens and finding solace in a higher power.
Yeah.
But in today's fast-paced world,
Mm-hmm.
where productivity is often prized above rest,
Mm-hmm.
how does the text reconcile the need for rest with all the demands of daily life?
Well, it acknowledges the challenge of prioritizing rest in a culture that glorifies busyness.
Yeah, for sure.
However, it emphasizes that rest is not a luxury,
Sure.
but a necessity
Okay.
for maintaining physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. It even suggests that by incorporating regular rest into our lives, we actually become more productive and effective in the long run.
So it's about working smarter, not harder,
Exactly.
by recognizing that rest is an essential part of a fulfilling and productive life.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, the text also seemed to connect this idea of rest with the concept of hope.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious, how does it tie those two concepts together?
Well, it describes hope as this anchor for the soul, something that keeps us grounded and steady, even in the midst of, all of life's storms.
Right.
And it's that hope, that deep trust in something bigger than ourselves that allows us to truly rest and be at peace.
So it's about finding comfort and solace in the belief that even when things are tough, there's a guiding force working for good in the universe.
Exactly.
I can see how that kind of hope would be so empowering, especially during those really challenging times.
It really is. And the text goes on to explain that this hope-filled rest isn't just beneficial for our individual well-being. It also empowers us to show up more fully for others. So when we're rested and grounded in hope,
Yeah.
we have more energy and compassion to offer to the world around us.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
We need to replenish our own wells of well-being in order to effectively care for others.
Exactly.
Now we've explored a wide range of principles from this text.
Yeah.
From trust and gratitude to forgiveness and rest.
It's been a journey.
It has. They don't seem interconnected, like forming a sort of roadmap for cultivating inner harmony and letting that inner glow shine through.
Absolutely.
But I'm curious, does the text offer any practical guidance on how to actually incorporate all these principles into our daily lives?
It does. It emphasizes that, true well-being is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And encourages the reader to experiment and find what works best for them,
Good.
for their own individual needs and circumstances.
Yeah.
It suggests starting with small, achievable steps, like incorporating a few moments of gratitude into your morning routine, adding a short prayer to your day,
Well,
or making a conscious effort to forgive someone who has hurt you.
it's about taking those baby steps,
Right.
those little acts of intention that over time can lead to profound shifts in our inner landscape
Yeah.
and ultimately how we experience the world around us.
Exactly. It's about weaving these principles into the fabric of your daily life,
Yeah.
making them a natural part of who you are, rather than just a set of rules to follow.
Okay.
The text reminds us that it's not about striving for perfection,
Right.
but about progress,
Okay.
about continually moving towards a more peaceful, joyful, and fulfilling way of being.
It's a beautiful reminder that it's not about reaching some unattainable ideal,
Right.
but it's about embracing that journey of growth and transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we wrap up our deep dive into Bible inner harmony and inner glow,
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your final thoughts. What struck you as the most powerful message in this text?
Well, what resonated most with me was the text's emphasis on balance. It doesn't present these biblical principles as this rigid set of rules,
Right.
but more as a framework for cultivating a life of, both inner peace and outward radiance.
Okay.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between personal growth and service to others, between striving for excellence and embracing those moments of rest and reflection.
That's a great point. It's about integrating these principles into your life
Yeah,
in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
right.
Not about forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't fit.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that true well-being is this multifaceted journey that requires ongoing effort and
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Absolutely. And the text doesn't shy away from the fact that this journey towards inner harmony and inner glow will have challenges.
Right.
It acknowledges that there will be times when you stumble or fall short,
Yeah.
but it encourages the reader to approach those moments not as failures, but as opportunities for learning and growth.
It's about embracing those imperfections,
Yeah.
recognizing that setbacks are just an inevitable part of the process.
Hmm.
And it seems like the text also emphasizes that we don't have to go through this journey alone.
Right, we don't. The
Right.
text beautifully highlights the role of community and the support we get from those who share our faith.
Hmm.
It reminds us that we're not meant to bear our burdens alone,
Yeah.
but to lean on each other for encouragement, guidance, and strength.
It's about recognizing that our individual well-being
Hmm.
is really intertwined with the well-being of those around us.
It is.
And that by supporting each other,
Yeah,
we create a more resilient and compassionate community.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the text leaves you with a sense of hope.
Okay.
It reminds us that even amidst all the complexities and challenges of life,
Yeah.
there's a path toward inner peace and outward radiance. A path that is guided by, timeless wisdom supported by a loving community and sustained by a deep connection with something greater than ourselves.
It's a powerful message, isn't it?
It is.
That despite all the ups and downs of life, there's a way to cultivate inner harmony and let that inner glow shine through.
Yeah.
And it all starts by taking those small intentional steps,
Right.
day by day, moment by moment, towards a more fulfilling and meaningful way of being.
Beautifully said. It's about recognizing that the journey itself is as important as the destination, and that by embracing the process with open hearts and a willingness to grow,
Yeah.
we can discover a depth of well-being that goes beyond the challenges of our everyday lives.
So as we leave our listeners to ponder this journey toward inner harmony and inner glow,
Okay.
I'm curious, what one principle or insight from this text will you carry with you today?
For me, it's the reminder that true well-being isn't a static state,
Okay.
but a dynamic process.
Right.
It's about constantly seeking balance, nurturing our connection with the divine, and leaning on our communities for support. And above all, approaching the journey with a sense of hope and a willingness to embrace, both the challenges and the triumphs along the way.
What a beautiful and inspiring way to wrap up our deep dive.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, we encourage you to reflect on what resonated with you from this exploration.
Yeah.
What small step can you take today to cultivate more inner harmony and let your own inner glow shine through?
That's a great question.
Remember, the journey begins with a single step. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Until next time.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.